This is WFYI News Now. It's July 2nd, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, the Indiana Supreme Court hears a property tax case that could impact local government and school finances. The state's public college degree programs are shrinking. And Governor Mike Braun explores tolling Indiana's interstate highways.
You're sticking your head in the sand if you don't have it available as an option.
Those stories coming up, but first. The long-closed John Marshall High School on the city's far east side will be repurposed. The Indianapolis Public Schools Board decided the property will be split into 3 parcels. One will be sold by IPS. Another will be used by Indy Parks. And the third piece will be managed by a group of community and business leaders. The usage of that piece of land is still being decided. Indy Parks hopes to get the final plans for a future park approved by next March. A property tax case heard by the Indiana Supreme Court last week could have a huge impact on local government and school finances, and some worry throw the state's property tax assessment system into chaos. The case deals with how property is classified under the state's property tax caps. The Indiana Constitution and state law use different language. State law says the 1% property tax cap is for homesteads, which it says consists of a dwelling and up to 1 acre of land immediately surrounding it. The Solani family has a home of nearly 4 acres of land in Lake County. 1 acre was taxed under the 1% cap, while the remainder was under the 3% property tax cap. Attorney Gerald Stout, representing the Solanis, told the Supreme Court that the state's law's 1 acre limitation is unconstitutional. Rather, he says property should be classified depending on how it is used.
The assessors would need to have conversations with the people to determine how they are using it.
But Ian Engel, representing the Lake County assessor, says that's not practical. She notes that the state constitution specifically says property assessment and taxation must be uniform and equal.
They require pragmatism where you have clear and defined rules for assessors to apply.
There is no timetable for the court's decision. The state's college degree programs are shrinking. Public colleges are planning to eliminate almost 20% of their degree programs across the state, following new legislative requirements. The requirements were added at the last minute to the state's budget bill without public discussion. Indiana University made the most cuts, adding up to 249 programs across all campuses. Purdue University removed 83 programs. More than 400 programs across all institutions are being cut, suspended, or merged. The Commission for Higher Education posted the full list of impacted programs online. Governor Mike Braun says the cuts streamline offerings and ensure there is a direct connection between higher education and careers. But advocates worry it will disproportionately harm humanities programs and lead to staffing cuts. And for our final story today, Governor Mike Braun was given slightly more expansive authority this year to explore tolling Indiana's interstate highways. Brandon Smith reports Braun says existing resources, almost solely reliant on fuel taxes, aren't enough to help Indiana's transportation network grow.
Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith recently posted on social media his total opposition to tolling, calling it another financial burden that Indiana Republicans want to put on Hoosiers. Braun says tolling has to be part of the road funding conversation.
You're sticking your head in the sand if you don't have it available as an option.
Indiana cannot unilaterally toll interstate highways. The federal government must approve new tolling. The governor's office already had authority to seek that federal approval. A new law this year simply removed a ban on new tolling within 75 miles of existing tolls on roads or bridges. I'm Brandon Smith at the State House.
That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.